His death by drone made him a hero to these people, a martyr. He died for all of us, one of this crowd told me.
Anton has been tracking Russian moves across the border for months. This is in anticipation of another offensive. Russian forces were in this area, he told me, and now we're preparing for the potential scenarios that may come. So this trench is unused. It was built in April after the initial Russian invasion. And you can see it's all fresh timber, waiting for a fresh offensive.
On this section of the border for over 3 weeks now, since Friday, when Israel first announced that they were moving ground forces into northern Gaza and that it would be different than what they had previously described as limited raids. We did see and hear what I described from Friday on as the most sustained and heaviest amount of artillery fire into northern Gaza. But I think we have seen since Friday waves of differences, right? So some of the things that we saw on Saturday is a bit of what we're seeing right now, was just a constant barrage of rockets, other bombs, other ordnance exploding inside of northern Gaza. But I do think where you're right is that this is different in that we're seeing this lighting up in multiple pockets. This area that we're showing you on screen right now, you see that explosion in the distance. In addition to the flares, there's clearly some sort of massive ground effort in that area. This is the longest we have seen in one particular pocket. Constant amount of flares.
Yeah. Well, asleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys are still on watch, right? You're on duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, the latest inside of Gaza and the humanitarian crisis underway, plus our look at Jerusalem, the merchants, Palestinian and Israeli.
The exodus now amounting to 2,000 people a day. We visited a makeshift camp there with UN Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield, who wanted to hear firsthand what they've experienced.
And these are her two grandchildren?
No food, no drinks.
Hasnat Ibrahim Yacob fled with her family after their older brother was killed by the militias. This Doctors Without Borders hospital cares for the sick, including a recent measles epidemic and starving children.
It is overwhelming. I think that's the only word that I can use. I see those little children. I saw a 6-month-old who looked like a newborn, and I was told by the doctors that actually she was doing better, showing that what we do actually save lives.
But who can heal the pain from the terror they've experienced? 18 years later, history is repeating itself, and the leaders of the previous horrors have still not been brought to account. The UN says it needs $1 billion more to feed, house, and heal the refugees, and so far has raised only a third of that, hardly enough to deal with a tragedy of this scale and a flood of its desperate victims.
We can't give up, but one woman told me something that really struck me. She said, "I lost my ambition."
That's, of course, the hope, Brian. But since I was here 18 years ago, there have been 16 failed ceasefires.
So we're seeing multiple explosions inside of Gaza right now. It's been more than 24 hours since the Israeli military announced that they had forces who were embarking on an expanded ground offensive inside of Gaza. We have heard artillery throughout the night, and now we are seeing again and again in the skyline in Gaza explosions. You see it lighting up there.
Just look at this crater. There was an elderly man and his son in this house when it was hit, and incredibly, they made it out alive. Amazingly, only one person was injured here. Ukrainian authorities are saying this was Vladimir Putin's New Year's greeting.